having to clear out in the greenhouse to make space ready for the seed sowing. But another thing I want to do is get me shallots off. These are some of the active that I saved from last year. In fact, some of them have started sprouting already. What I'm going to do, I'm going to pot them up into 3-inch pots individually, and then I'll put them in a tray and let them just tick over during the winter. If you want to see how shallots are done for the big boys, have a look at Chris Evans's video. He put a good one up probably 3 or 4 weeks ago. I'll put a link in the bottom, and he's got some massive things. But these are not for show, they're just for general eating really. But I do like this variety. I mean, that's a decent one there. I don't know if you can see that there. So I'm just going to pot these up and I'll bring it over to the potting bench. Oh, this is the last bit of worm compost that I've got. I've got some more in the greenhouse, but it's taking an age to dry out. I've just added bloodfish and bone and also a little bit of vermiculite in there. These are set 3-inch pots. Put some loose compost in. Now I need to get it compact because I'm going to just nestle the shallot in the top. Press it down, go around the outside, and that's it. I was at a gardening event in the late summer and I caught up with Andrew from Clover, and he kindly gave me a bag of their peat-free multi-purpose compost to try. So I'm going to be using that until my worm compost, the next batch, is dry enough to use. Just like my compost, I'll be adding some bloodfish and bone in as well, because usually it only lasts 6 weeks or so, and the shallots have been much longer than that. Before I make any additions, I'll just show you the texture. And you can see there's quite a lot of fibre in there, but it's fairly fluffy, not too many lumps in. So I'll get the bloodfish and bone in and see how this goes. While I've been mixing the bloodfish and bone in, I've also rubbed out any lumps, and I must say it's broken down quite nicely. Can't see no nasties in there like I've seen on other compost trails. Apart from these roots, I'd like to know what they are, but we'll see how they go. Once I've potted these shallots on, I'll water them in from the top first time, and every watering then will be from underneath. So they're going to be in the greenhouse, no covering at all. I was speaking inside to Chris Evans the way he did his, and he said 1 year it was that bad in his polytunnel. He got ventilation both ends. The frost actually froze the soil, and he had some of the best shallots ever. So I'll be too kind to him. I'm just giving these a watering now, and the hope is that it pushes the compost down into any air pockets that might be down there. And as I said from earlier, anything then, water from below. I'll put them in these 15-cell plastic trays, and them on the gravel tray, so I can just pop some water in the bottom and put them in these cells. It's easy to make the transition of moving these around so they don't flop all over the place and the pot's full. So to finish off watering these, then we can find somewhere to put them. Right, I've got them potted up, 45 in all, and I was just going to put them in these mushroom trays. Now, because I'm short of space, I'm going to stack these. And really all we want to do now, light ain't really an issue, we want these to put roots down. If you notice when you plant shallots, there's very little activity come out the top for quite a while, and that's because I'm developing roots. So, like I said, I'm going to stack these, but rather than stack them on top, to give them a bit more room and possibly a bit more light, what I've done, I've got another mushroom tray. I've just cut the bottom down, and I'm going to put that on top, use it just like the Vitapod as a spacer, and then get another tray on the top of here and just pop another tray in, and just like they did on Blue Peter, here's another one I made earlier. That can go on the top of there, and the last tray there. As you can see there, that's given them a good space in between to get the airflow and a little bit of light. But say the main thing is they're going to be putting down roots. It was at this point, as I moved on to the allotment, that the batteries in the wireless mic decided to fail. So I'm going to have to talk you over this. With the temperatures dropping cool, then it was time to have a look at harvesting something for some winter stews. And the first on the list was my usual parsnip of the variety Gladiator F1. The first one I picked up wasn't too bad, although I was expecting a little bit bigger, but it's still nice and clean. However, then I moved on to the next spot, and that one came out much better. I had left the collars on these, but splitting them earlier, the collars come off quite easy, so it didn't get jammed in, and that was, say, another nice parsnip. I then moved on farther up the end of the bed where the celery was. Very late in the season for me. I'll give you more info about this in a probably later clip, maybe the next video. But even so, the first one I lifted I was very happy with. And then bringing up the rear, I've got some Celeriac. Again, these had been left in longer than I wanted, and I had feared they would go a bit woody, but having a closer look at them, it didn't look too bad. And so I've got probably 7 or 8 more to harvest in there. But nonetheless, I love the smell of them. If you've never grown Celeriac, grow it just for the smell. It's beautiful. So this is the first harvest for the winter stew for this year. So I'm very happy with the celery. Some lovely pink stems there. Parsnips are not too bad, although that one has got a little bit of canker in, but we soon cut that out. Celeriac, if you've never grown this, just the scent of it is beautiful. I've pulled a few carrots out the tank and the sweet candles. Got one of my onions out the store and the rest of the shallots. So I'll just take these in the house now, give them a little tidy up, and we can soon get them in the pot. One of the big disappointments I had last year was on Christmas Eve, and that was when I come to harvest the potatoes ready for the next day, Christmas Day lunch. And like a lot of gardeners around the country, we'd had quite a few severe frosts leading up to that. And when I come to empty the buckets, the potatoes was just turned to mush. So rather than risk or reduce the risk of that happening again, although the greenhouse behind is not cleared yet, I'm still going to transport these into there, and I can just stack them up. At the moment, I've got 8 buckets of Charlotte and 4 sour Palmyra. So that's the first job to do, get them inside. Now that the temperature's dropping cold, I've got 3 Cannas here, and I've got another one over the other side. These are in pots, and I've just sunk them into the borders. So what I'm going to do, first of all, I'm going to lift them, take them into the greenhouse, clean them up, and I might just crop off the stalks and leave them in the pots. I bought these from a local independent nursery last year as little plants, and initially they took a while to get going. I potted them on and couldn't see nothing, so I just sunk these pots into the ground, and lo and behold, they've gone like billy-o. As you can see, or maybe not, it's deformed the pot quite a lot. This I think the rhizomes in here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to chop all the foliage off. I've actually got some new growth coming up from the bottom, but I don't want these to grow no more. I just want to preserve these for next year, and then can have another nice show. These are the red variety called Bronze Scarlet. So I'm just going to say, chop off the foliage stalks. I'll leave a bit on, because what I'll do, I'll actually tip the pot down on its side to give it a chance to drain any moisture out there, stop going in and rotting the rest of the plant. Another thing worth considering this time of the year now, before the big frosts arrive, if you're fortunate to be able to use house pipes, think about storing them away, because leaving them out in the frost doesn't do no good. This is the flexible tea hose. I did do a review on this quite a while back now, and I've looked on the website and they've still got some fantastic offers, something like 200% your money back if you're not happy with it. I'm more than happy with this. It's done well. Used it most of the year, and it still looks like brand new actually. So what I'm going to do is just leave it in this bucket and pop it in the shed, which is frost free, and hopefully be ready for action next year. So that's me done for this one. Many thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon in the next. Bye for now.